Hi, and welcome to Prenatal Yoga. Have a seat on your mat or on a block or on the folded edge of a blanket, whatever feels comfortable to you. Get comfortable, adjust your seat, let your hands rest on your knees with your palms down and close your eyes. And let's take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth together. Inhale. And an audible sigh. And just letting things go. Two more, just like that. Inhale. One more. Now go ahead and seal your lips and continue to breathe in and out through your nose. Breathe in and out through the nose and begin to use your Ujjayi breath. So that's a very gentle contraction of the back of the throat. It sounds just like this. A little bit like Darth Vader if you were to open your mouth, but keep your lips sealed. In a yoga class, if we aren't listening to our bodies and we're mindlessly moving through poses, or if we're listening only to the teacher's directions and not our bodies, then we can end up injuring ourselves. Christiane Northrup says our inner guidance comes to us through our feelings and our body wisdom first, not through our intellectual understanding. In labor, listening to your body can make the difference between a slow, more painful labor or an active, empowering, safer, and healthier labor. And then with your eyes staying closed, take one more really deep breath in through the nose and an audible sigh out through the mouth. And just let it go. Think for a moment as you start to move onto your hands and your knees. What intention might you have for this class? Or what intention do you have for your pregnancy or for your birth? Think about that. You might not have the answer right away. It's okay. But just think about that as you move it onto your hands and your knees. It can be a little bit wider than your hips, but bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And as you inhale, come right into a cow stretch, lifting the shoulders, lifting the sit bones, and looking up as you inhale. Now, as you exhale, round your back and tuck your chin towards your chest. Press your spine towards the ceiling. Tuck the tailbone down towards the mat, and then inhale. Moving into cow stretch, and exhale, moving into cat stretch. So we're going to move just a little bit more. I also want you to listen to your body. And if you have a way of moving that feels good to you, I want you to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to just, as I round my back, I'm going to curl around to the right, come back to the center, back to a cow stretch, and then curl around to the left. As I exhale, inhale into my cow, curl around to the right, inhale, and exhale. Try to stay focused on that breath. This time, go all the way around like you're making a circle with your whole body all the way around. And to the left, back, to the right, forward again. Just creating that spinal mobility. One more time to the left. And now let's switch directions. You're going to go to the right. Or if you don't want to do this and there's something that feels good to your body, I want you to listen to your body. Do what feels good to your body. Continue that breath. Stay with the breath. And feel the energy starting to build in the body. That strength just flowing through your body. One more. Good. And then bring your knees underneath your hips as best you can. And if you don't want to step back into plank, just go right up into downward dog. But what I want you to do first is take your right foot back, curl the toes under, and push out through the heel of that right foot. Now, hug your belly up towards your baby, like you're giving your baby a hug with your belly muscles. Squeeze your Kegel muscle and lift your left knee about an inch off of the mat. You're going to feel your core really working as you're pushing out through that right heel, beginning to feel the heat build in the body. Take a breath. Bring the knee down, left knee down, bring the right knee down, and take your left foot back. Push out through the heel of that left foot. Pull the belly in, squeeze your Kegel muscle. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, lift your right knee an inch off of the mat. Feel your body working hard. Take a breath. Good. Lower your right knee, lower your left knee. Sit back on your heels for a moment. If that doesn't feel good to sit back on your heels, take one of your blocks, slip it between your legs and sit on the block. That's easier on the knees. Roll your wrists out for a moment. Just roll them out, reversing direction. Good. And then shake those wrists out. Now we're going to come up to plank and then downward dog, but if you don't want to do plank, you don't have to. Take a deep breath and let it go. Come back onto your hands and your knees. Slide your knees back about 6 inches. Bring your shoulders right over your wrists and pull your belly in. See if you can squeeze your Kegel muscle too. Stepping one foot back at a time, you find yourself in a plank pose. Take a breath. Now you can hold this a little longer if you want to, or you can bend the knees, push those hips way up there and back, and then take a moment and gently bend your elbows. Really, it's a tiny little bend. It'll enable you to get the shoulders away from the ears, and then gently draw your elbows towards each other, and you'll feel the muscles between those shoulder blades working hard. Now go ahead and slowly walk out the backs of the legs, pressing the right heel down as you bend the left knee. Good, and then switch. And if you need to open your feet wider for your belly, you just go right ahead. You just want to make sure that your toes are parallel to each other. And press down. One more time. Press that right heel down as you bend your left knee and take a breath. And as you exhale, press your left heel down as you bend your right knee. Deep, deep breath here. And exhale, lift up both heels off of your mat. Press both heels down. If you're able to flex your toes off the mat, go ahead, take a breath. Lower to your knees. Take those knees a little bit wider than your hips and come to your forearms for a moment. You can turn your palms up if you want. You can even interlace your fingers if you want. I want you to just do some pelvic rocking. This is important to do this every single day. This can actually help, if you do it every day, can help get the baby into the right position. Babies move into that head down position around 32, 33, 34 weeks. So you get to that point, ask your care provider, what position is my baby in? They can tell. They don't have to do an ultrasound. They can palpate your belly and they can tell. You can also kind of tell by where the movements are in your belly, where the feet and the hands are. Nice deep breaths, staying with that breath. These pelvic rocks are so important to do every single day, and they will really make a big difference in how your lower back copes with your pregnancy, because your low back's getting pulled forward. We want to have a nice strong back to support that weight of your baby. Take one more, tilting up and tucking under, and then come back up to your hands and your knees. Come back up to downward dog. If you want to start with a plank, start with a plank. Pull your belly in, squeeze your Kegel muscle. If you want to start with downward dog, go ahead and just lift those hips up nice and high. I'm going to bend my elbows a little tiny bit and draw my elbows in. Pull your belly towards your baby. Take a deep breath here. Exhale slowly. Now open your feet as wide as your mat and walk your hands all the way back towards your feet. Toes are parallel. Bring your hands to your shins. Create a little bend in your knees and extend your collarbones forward so the torso is parallel to the ground, to the mat. And you can feel all those muscles on both sides of the spine working hard. Take a breath and keep a tiny little bend in the knees, even if you're really flexible. Take a breath and exhale, float forward over those legs. Do it again. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, float forward. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, float. Halfway up, inhale. Exhale, float. Last time, inhale, halfway up. Exhale, float forward, and I want you to go ahead and cross your arms or cup the opposite elbow with each hand. Now, if you have any acid reflux, any heartburn, then you might want to do your forward fold with your hand on a block so that your torso is, again, parallel to the mat. You can bend one knee, keeping the opposite leg straight, and then switch back and forth. So that's if you're having heartburn issues or acid reflux issues. Otherwise, come all the way down, crossing the arms, letting the head, the neck relax. Just imagine the heavy weight of the head stretching the back of the body, the arms stretching the back of the body. Now see if you can very gently squeeze your Kegel muscle and very gently hug your belly in towards your baby. I know it's not easy to do in this position. Take a breath. Exhale slowly. Let your hands float towards the mat and begin to bend your knees and take your hands back onto your sacrum. Maybe you can't see me because that little plant's in the way. And I'm interlacing my fingers on my low back, on my sacrum. I'm going to sit low and then see if you can stretch your arms away from your low back. If you can't, that's okay. You can keep your hands on your sacrum, but your feet are nice and wide. Take a breath. And depends on how big that belly is. I want you to let your belly kind of drop right between those thighs. And once that belly's between the thighs, begin to straighten the backs of the legs and breathe deeply, squeezing those shoulder blades together. If you can't get your hands off your low back, do not worry about it. You can just keep them on the low back, but work on squeezing your shoulder blades towards each other. Just opening the shoulders a little bit. Take a breath. Exhale slowly. One more. You can bring your hands to your low back if you were able to remove them and begin to lift your gaze, looking forward towards the front of the mat. Bend those knees once again. Now release your hands and sweep your arms forward and all the way up. You're going to clasp your left wrist with your right forefinger and thumb. Move your feet a little bit closer to each other. And as you inhale, see if you can make yourself even taller. As you exhale, you're going to lean over to the right. Imagine you're making a footprint with your left foot. So dig it deeper into the mat. Take a breath. And exhale. See if you can relax the shoulders a little bit. Roll your body. Just see if you can find any tension. Is your jaw tensing up? Good. Take another breath here and come back up to the center. And you're going to switch hands. Clasp the right wrist with your left forefinger and thumb. As you exhale, lean to the left, digging that right foot a little bit deeper into the mat, like you're making a footprint. Breathe. And you kind of hear almost a gentle rock. As you inhale, you come up a little bit. As you exhale, you lean back over to the left a little bit more. Inhale. And exhale. All the way back up, inhale. Now, cactus your arms. So you're going to make a couple of goal posts with those arms. But I want you to bend your knees and tuck your tailbone forward. Lift your heart and then begin to open the shoulders a little bit. Open the elbows a little bit more. Take a breath. Inhale, reach up with the hands. Straight arms. And then bring them back into those cactus arms. You feel the chest open, the shoulder open, but I don't want you to do too much of a back bend because that stretches those abdominal muscles. Take a deep breath, a little too much. Stretch up with those arms, straight arms, And then bend the elbows one more time. Sweep those arms all the way up. Bring your hands to your heart center. Open your feet nice and wide. Turn your toes out. You're going to come into a squat. You don't want to do a full squat. You can come into a half squat. Otherwise, come all the way down. You can also take a block or two and place it underneath your bottom and sit on it if that's easier. If you have any knee issues or this just doesn't feel comfortable. Now see if you can move your weight a little bit more into your heels and lift your heart and take a nice deep breath here. And exhale. And inhale again. And exhale. On your next exhale, just let your hands float back down to your mat. Your fingertips can touch the mat. Lean forward a little bit. You can lift your heels off of the mat and begin to straighten the backs of the legs. Turn those toes forward so the toes are parallel. Crawl your hands up to your shins right below the knees, coming into a half forward fold. Inhale. Ardha Uttanasana, that's what it's called. Take a breath. Folding forward. Now bend your knees and sweep your arms all the way out to the side, all the way up, coming all the way back up into Urdhva Hastasana, that is upward facing hands pose. And then bring your hands down by your side. Walk up to the top of your mat. I've got 2 blocks here. Maybe you don't have 2 blocks, but 1 block will do. And you can stand right behind the blocks. Just makes forward folding a little bit easier. Take a deep breath here. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up and sit back in a chair pose. Take a breath. And sit a little lower. Now bring your pinky fingers towards each other and move your thumbs away from each other and see if you can move your weight a little more into your heels. You might even be able to flex your toes off of your mat. And you begin to feel the heat building. Take a breath. Exhale. Good. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, airplane your arms. Bring them back. I want you to bring your right knee up to the level of your right hip, flexing that right foot. Find that balance. Push your left big toe into the mat. When we balance, we have a tendency to roll to the outside of the foot we're balancing on. And find something to look at that's not going to move. Take a breath. Bring your hands to your heart. Bring your right knee down. Take a breath here. And exhale, back to chair pose. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, sit low. Try to relax the shoulders away from the ears. Try to move your weight into your heels. Breathe in. Breathe out. 1 more. Airplane those arms. Exhale. Bring the left knee up to the level of your hip. Lift your left knee and flex your left foot. Hug your belly towards your baby. And I find myself rolling to the outside of my right foot. So I'm going to push my right big toe a little bit deeper into the mat. Take a breath. And bring your left foot down. Now take another deep breath here. And exhale. Sweep your arms all the way out and up. And you're going to need to open your feet wide. If you got a big belly, go ahead and open those feet as wide as your belly needs you to as you fold forward all the way down. Bringing the hands to the shins. Inhale, lengthen and look forward. As you exhale, plant your hands on your blocks. Or if you only have 1 block, you can put it right in front of you. And then step your right foot back. And if your belly's really big, you might need to heel toe your left foot out to the left a little bit and or bring your block or blocks inside. I want you to go ahead and straighten your left leg and then bend your left knee. And straight and bend. And 1 more. Straighten it and bend it. Good. Now, extend your collarbones forward. Keep your right hand either on the mat or the block. And go ahead and twist to the left. You're going to reach your left hand towards the ceiling. See if you can firm up your right thigh as though you're trying to push that right thigh a little bit higher up towards the ceiling and twist as much as is comfortable, never going too far. Lift and lengthen the collarbones. Well, you can't lengthen the collarbones, but stretch those collarbones forward. Take a breath. Bring your left hand down to the mat or the block. And now what I want you to do is I want you to bring one of your blocks with you, and I'm going to pivot my toes out and pivot my toes to face this right side of the mat. I'm going to put that block down at the other end of my mat. Inhale, look up halfway, and then exhale, take a full forward fold. Let your head, your neck relax. If you're able to touch the mat, see if you can line up the tips of your fingers with the tips of your toes so that you would draw a straight line between the toes and the fingers would rest right on that line. Or if it's hard for you to touch the mat, put the block underneath your hands. Let your head and your neck relax. Now take a breath and bend your knees just a teeny tiny bit, and then shift your weight just a little more forward and feel how that really changes that stretch. Take a breath and exhale. And one more. And exhale. Inhale, look up halfway. Bend your knees. We're going to pivot and face the back of the mat. Now our right foot is forward. And you may have that block. You might need that block under your left hand or in front of your foot. Go ahead and bend and straighten your right knee. Bend and straighten. Bend and straighten. One more time. And bend into that right knee. Your left hand stays on the mat or the block as you twist to the right. And a nice deep breath here. See if you can lift and lengthen the front of the body. Pulling the belly in and up towards the baby. See if you can squeeze that Kegel muscle. Pulling it in. Take one more breath. Go ahead and bring your right hand down to the mat. Move that block forward. You're going to need it in a second. Maybe make it tall. And you're going to step forward with your left foot. Good. I'm going to move back so you guys can see me if you're looking at the camera. I'm sorry, the video. Take your block and make it so there's 3 widths. There's this most narrow width, the medium, and the wide. I want you to use the medium right between your knees. I want you to squeeze that block with your knees and then sit down in chair. Sweep your arms all the way up. Sit back in chair. Squeeze that block between your knees. Imagine it's the winning lottery ticket and you don't want to drop it. Take a breath and exhale. Inhale. Airplane those arms. Bring your hands and take that block. Good. And sweep those arms all the way up. Take a full forward fold as you exhale. Good. And a half forward fold as you inhale. You're going to need that block for a moment. And take your right foot back to a lunge. But this time, we're going to take our right knee all the way down to the mat. You might need this block, and you might need to heel toe your left foot out to the left if your belly's real big. Go ahead and bring your right knee down. Just really sink into the hip, into that right hip. Breathe in. Lift your heart. Pull your belly towards your baby and squeeze your Kegel muscle. Take a breath. And exhale. We're going to probably need this block. As you move back, you move your hips back, you're going to flex your left foot. Lift up and lengthen. The block can come inside your foot. And then fold. Of course, if that belly's really big, you're going to have to fold inside of your leg. When you're not pregnant, you try to fold over your leg, but make our allowances. I like to reach forward with my block and my hands. It gives me a deeper stretch and it goes all the way into my low back. Take a breath here and exhale. One more. Good. Inhale, look up and look forward and lunge forward once again. This time, you're going to curl your right toes under, lift your right knee up, and again, we're going to pivot. This time, we're going to face this left side of the mat. Turn your toes out a bit, and we're going to do a little bit of a modified skandasana. So walking your hands to the right, and you might need that block. You can use the block if you want. Bend your right knee and keep your left leg straight. And then walk your hands to the left. Bend your left knee, keeping your right leg straight. And we're just going to go back and forth a few times. If you find that you get to a spot and you're like, oh, that feels good, I don't want to come out of that, feel free to hold it. I want you to listen to your body. I also want you to feel free at any time to go right into child's pose. And walking to the right, walking to the left. One more time, both directions, to the right. And last time to the left. And then come to the center. Place your hands on top of your thighs and come into horse pose. Take a breath here. And exhale. One more. And exhale. Last time. I said one more, I lied. Take your hands down. Pivot all 10 of your toes to face the front of your mat. Now bring your left knee down to the mat. Feel free to use that block under your hands. First, just let your hips sink down. Feel that hip flexor opening. See if you can lift your chest to lengthen the front of the body. And as you do that, hug your belly, squeeze your Kegel muscle. That pelvic floor, you want to keep it nice and strong. Deep, deep breath here. Go ahead and begin to straighten your right leg, moving your hips back. And you can keep your hands on the block or take them down to the mat. Lift up and lengthen and then fold over or inside of that right leg. Keep the foot flexed. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. Good. Come forward, lunging once more. Go ahead and put that block down. You can put your hands on either side of your right foot on the blocks or on the mat and curl your left toes under. Lift that left knee up and step forward right up into a half forward fold. Inhale, lengthen the front of the body. Exhale, fold. Chair. Airplane your arms. This, once again, you're going to lift this right knee up. Good. And find that balance. Find a place, a spot to look at. This is very helpful in labor to have a spot to focus on. Now we're going to come into airplane pose. So slowly bring your leg back, bring your arms back, airplane those arms. You know what? If you can't go fully into it, you can just let those right toes rest on the mat behind you and just work on being very tall. Otherwise, come all the way in to your airplane pose. See if you can squeeze your shoulder blades together. Hug your belly towards your baby. You're going to come into a lunge here in a sec. Take a breath. Bend your left knee and land in your lunge. Sweep your arms all the way up. Nice deep breath. Exhale. We're going to open up into warrior two. So pivot your back heel down. Bend your left knee. Look to the left. Now take a nice deep breath as you straighten your left leg. Inhale, bringing your hands to your heart. And open those arms, bend that left knee. One more time, just like that. Nice and slow. Deepen the breath. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Hold warrior two. Deep breath. Now take your left palm up. Right hand to the back of the right leg. Sweep that left arm up. It's a side bend. Nice deep breath here. See if you can bend your left knee a little deeper. One more breath. Extended side angle. Sweep that right arm by the ear. Good. And again, we're always thinking about how can we create more space in the body. So I'm going to extend the top of my head forward. I'm going to lift my chin a little bit, extend my collarbones, pull the belly in. Firm both of my thighs and pull the belly. Squeeze the Kegel. One more breath here. Good. You're going to come up into star pose here in a second. So all the way up, cross those arms, star pose. Now come into horse pose. Bend your knees, bringing your hands to your heart. Taking a deep breath. We're going to keep the legs bent. Inhale. Pull that breath down. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more, inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and straighten both of those legs. Take your arms parallel to the floor. You're going to take this right foot, turn the toes in. Take the left foot, turn the toes to the front of your mat. We're coming in a triangle. And here's where the block can come in handy too. So begin to reach way, way out over that left leg. Take your left hand to your shin, right below the kneecap. You can start with your right hand on your hip, or you can go ahead and reach straight up with that right hand. But if you keep your hand on your hip, it kind of helps you, remind you to pull your belly in, squeeze your kegel, and very gently rotating the top of your ribcage back, the bottom of your ribcage forward. Now, I can keep my hand on my shin, or I can take one of those blocks, make it tall, or whatever height you need it to be, and place it right outside of my left calf. And then I'm going to rotate open again, and I'm going to look up. If it's not comfortable for your neck to look up, you don't have to. Now, once again, pull your belly in. Think about lengthening the neck, lengthening the front of the body, firming through the legs. Nice deep breath here. Now slowly look down and sweep your right arm forward towards the front of your mat or past the front of your mat. If you're like me, I feel that all the way down to my hip, my right hip flexor, outside of my hip. Breathe in, breathe out. As you exhale, pull your belly in, take your right arm straight up with your inhale. Now go ahead and look down once again. You're going to bend that left knee. Go ahead and put your block down. Windmill your arms all the way down to those blocks. And take that right foot and pivot it forward. Make sure it's all 10 of your toes are facing forward, because you're going to step forward into a half forward fold. So step that right foot forward. Inhale into a half forward fold. Exhale into a full forward fold. Chair. Airplane the arms. You're going to lift the left knee up this time. Find that balance. Firmly pressing the right big toe into your mat, hugging your belly, coming into airplane. Remember, you can just take the toes to the mat behind you if you prefer, or come all the way into your airplane. Hug your belly towards your baby. Squeeze your shoulder blades. See, I lost my balance. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Lift that left leg a little higher if you want to. Little bend in the right knee. Take a breath. Come back into your lunge. Sweep those arms all the way forward and up. And find yourself. Feel that energy flowing through your body. Maybe you're feeling your heart rate pick up just a little. You're sending that blood coursing through the placenta, to the cord, to the baby. Come into warrior two. Warrior two. So open up the arms, bend the right knee, pivot the left heel down, look to the right. We're going to take a deep breath as we straighten the right leg. Inhale, nice and slow. And exhale, reach out. One more time, inhale. And exhale, reach out and hold it there. Breathe in. Turn the right palm up. Find the back of the left thigh. Reverse your warrior. Bend into your right knee a little more. Good, extended side angle. Right forearm to your right thigh. Turn this left palm up. Keep it pressing up. And now it's pressing forward. Good, and then take it back. Lengthening the body. I'm going to extend the top of my head towards the front of my mat. I'm going to try to extend my collarbones. Lengthening the front of the body. Rotating the top of the rib cage back and the bottom forward. Hug your belly towards your baby and squeeze your kegel muscle. Take a deep breath. Exhale, you're gonna come into star pose. Take it up, turn the toes out, the legs are straight and the arms are extended. Horse pose. Bring the hands through your heart center. Take a deep breath. Place your hands right here on top of your thighs, like right above those knees. Fingers are pointing in and down towards the mat. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, bring your right shoulder towards your left knee. It's a little bit of a twist. Now, as you inhale, come right back to the center and do it again. Same side, right shoulder, left knee. Inhale back to the center. Left shoulder to the right knee. Good. Inhale back to the center. Left shoulder to the right knee. Inhale back to the center. Come back up to star pose all the way up. Take the arms parallel to the mat. Turn your right toes to the front of your mat. Turn your left toes in. We're coming in a triangle. Take a deep breath. Make yourself as tall as you can. Reach out. Find the shin right below the right knee with your right hand. If you want, you can take a block and place it outside of your right calf. Reach the left hand as though you could almost, you reach for something, you can almost touch it. You'll feel an even deeper stretch, even if you reach out through the fingertips. Pull your belly in. Squeeze your Kegel muscle. My dog is whining. You're gonna have to wait until my triangle's over. Take a deep breath here. And exhale. One more. Slowly now look down at your right foot and sweep your left arm alongside your left ear. Really stretch it. And again, if you're like me, you'll feel that in your left hip flexor, maybe even outside of your left hip. Hug your belly in, squeeze your Kegel muscle. Reach your left hand straight up. Look down at your right foot. Bend your right knee and bring your hands down to those blocks. Make sure you pivot the back foot all the way forward. I'm going to need to heel toe my right foot over to the right to make room. And then I'm going to step forward. You guys are going to step forward with me into a half forward fold. Inhale. And a full forward fold. Now go ahead and cross your arms. Take a little ragdoll. Hold that while I let the dog out. Okay. Come on. There you go. He'll probably be back. All right, take a deep breath here. And if the heartburn's getting to you or the acid reflux, make your block tall, make your torso parallel, bend one knee, just keep the other leg straight. And you can do this also if you're holding onto your opposite elbows or crossing your arms. Good, nice deep breath here. All right, place those hands down on your blocks and slowly step yourself back to a downward dog and then walk your hands down to the mat. Downward facing dog. Sway your hips from side to side. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. We're going to come into pigeon pose here. So go ahead and bring your right knee forward. So you're going to push off of this left foot. Good. And I'm going to bring my right knee forward. I'm going to bring my right knee right outside of my right wrist. Might take you a little bit to get there. That's okay. Just make sure this knee is a little bit outside of the right wrist. The right knee is outside the right wrist. Now, because you have a big belly, probably, this is where a block can come in really handy. If you curl your left toes under, you lift your left knee, you can slide a block right underneath your left thigh. Make sure it's the flesh of your thigh that's resting on the block and not your kneecap. Bring your forearms down. And if you have a second block, you can rest your forehead on the back corner of that second block. If you don't, try not to let your head hang like this. We don't want to create that tech neck. We want to try to undo that. And maybe you can support your chin with your hands. Focus on your breath. And as you breathe in and out, in. And out. Just think about what's happening in your body. Each breath is opening up each and every cell. Those neurons are connecting. Those cells are multiplying furiously. Imagine each breath just igniting a tiny spark of warmth, of light. And picture your baby slowly, maybe close your eyes. Picture your baby all curled up inside of you. Your baby is so safe and warm and oh so comfortable. Take a deep breath and then exhale through the mouth. One more. And exhale. Good. Slowly walk your hands back, up. If you have the block under your left thigh, curl your left toes under, lift your left thigh up and remove that block. Now, you can come to your hands and your knees and then up to downward dog, or if you know how to come into downward dog, curl your left toes under, lift your left knee, pull your belly towards your baby, and push yourself up to downward facing dog. I'm going to bend my elbows just a little bit. That allows me to draw my elbows towards each other. It allows me to relax my shoulders away from my ears. Hug your belly towards your baby. Now go ahead and sway your hips side to side like you're rocking your baby in the hammock of your belly. And when you're ready, you're going to push off of this right foot. Use the right foot to sort of launch you forward, bringing your left knee right outside of your left wrist. Just right behind it, right outside of it. Taking that block, curling the right toes under, slide your block under your right thigh. And bring your forearms down to the mat. If you're like me, have a second block, let your forehead rest on that second block. Go ahead and close your eyes. Try to really tune into your breath. And ask yourself, am I breathing deeply? Could I breathe a little slower maybe? Could I breathe a little more deeply? There's kind of a fine line in almost every pose between working hard and relaxing into the pose. Pigeon pose is kind of a funny pose. It's sort of people have sort of a love-hate relationship with it. It's kind of hard. Yet it really is the great way to stretch your hips. Scan your body and see if you can find any muscles that are still tense. Is your jaw tense? Or maybe you're concentrating and you're sort of squeezing your eyebrows towards each other. Or maybe your shoulders need to let go of some tension. We manifest our emotions in our body. Deep, deep breath. Open your mouth and let it go. Once again, breathe in. Breathe out. And in. Open the mouth, let it go. Good. Once again, slowly walk your hands up. If you've got a block under your right thigh, curl your right toes under, lift your right knee, remove the block. Adjust yourself. And then again, to come straight up to downward dog, curl your right toes under, lift your right knee, pull your belly towards your baby and push yourself up to your last downward facing dog. Take a deep breath here. Lift both heels up off of your mat. Now pivot all 10 of your toes to face the right side of your mat and then put your heels down. Now, push your hands so far forward that you're pushing your hips back. That those hips go up and back. Deep breath here. Now get ready to pivot your feet to the left. So lift the heels, pivot the toes all the way to the left, put the heels down, and again, push those hands forward to push the hips back. Deep breath. Exhale, pivot your feet forward, lower to your knees with your knees wider than your hips. Good, nice deep breath. Come to your forearms and do one last set of pelvic rocking. Tilting up, tucking under, tilting up and tucking under. Then you're going to go into Shavasana here in a second. So hopefully you have 2 pillows, and I'm going to have my blocks stand in for pillows so that you guys know how to get into the side relaxation position, which is the ideal resting position in pregnancy and in labor if you need to rest in labor. So coming back to your hands, sit down onto your left hip. Lying on your left side gives you the best circulation. One of my blocks, pretend this is a pillow. I'm going to put this right here in front of me. My second block is going to stand in for the pillow under my head. I'm going to reach forward with my right hand so that I can come down lower, and I'm going to take my left arm alongside my back and then bring my head all the way down onto the pillow. Taking the top knee, the right knee, you're going to place it on the second pillow, or in my case, the block. And then this allows you to roll forward a little bit so that the right arm rests on the mat in front of you. And you have no body part touching any other body part, so the limbs won't be falling asleep. And hopefully you're comfortable. So if that is not a comfortable position for you, do what you need to do to get comfortable. Now go ahead and close your eyes. Getting ready for Shavasana. I want you to start, before you go into a full relaxation, taking 3 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And now just continue to breathe normally, but I want you to try to focus on your breath. Think about it. Each breath allowing you to wash away any unwanted thoughts or unwanted feelings. Relax all the muscles in your face, around your eyes, all the tiny muscles, all around your mouth, and just let your jaw open just slightly. We know you're relaxed if your teeth are just a little bit separated. And as you continue to breathe, imagine yourself becoming more and more relaxed. Any stress, any unwanted thoughts get washed away with every exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Becoming more and more relaxed. You might feel the breath coming in through the nose, down the back of the throat. Maybe you notice how your belly and your ribcage gently rise with each inhale and fall with each exhale. If your mind begins to wander, just simply bring it back to your breath. And each time that you notice if your mind has wandered, acknowledge yourself, because that is a moment of mindfulness. Congratulate yourself for paying attention. Now just notice how your body feels lying against the mat, resting on the pillows. Notice the points of contact between your body and the mat beneath you, the pillows beneath you. Just notice, don't change anything. And now take a moment and bring your attention to your feet. Maybe you feel a little tingling. Maybe your feet feel warm. Just notice the temperature of your feet. And allow your bones to become heavy. Heavy, relaxed, warm, comfortable. Now just very slowly begin to add a little movement into your fingers and your toes. You don't want to come out of Shavasana right now. You do not have to. But if you are ready to, create a little bit more movement by wiggling your fingers and your toes. Take a breath in. Take a breath out. Feel that baby just floating inside of you, warm and comfortable. Keep your eyes closed. You take a deep breath and you exhale slowly. Bring yourself back up to a comfortable seat. And once you're seated on your mat or your block or the folded edge of your blanket, bring your hands to your heart center. Take a little moment and give thanks for the miracle of this perfect union of you and this little baby. Bow to that light within. Namaste. Thanks so much for sharing your yoga with me, sharing your pregnancy with me, and wish we could meet in person, but this is the next best thing.